Welcome to Homebuyers School, brought to you by Brookfield Residential. Get ready to learn strategies, tactics, and tips on the home buying process. Join Carl Ye as he talks with experts with the savvy and experience to help you find your perfect home.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Homebuyers School. I'm Carl Ye. This is Corey McDonald, Community Manager with Brookfield Residential. And today in this episode, we're going to answer the question, what goes into the actual offer to purchase or contract to purchase? So essentially, if I like a house and I've gone through the walkthrough and all that kind of stuff and I want to buy it, so what are my next steps?
Really good question.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between buying a brand new house versus buying one that's previously been lived in, or a resale home. Typically when you're buying a resale home, the realtor that's involved, they have their own Realtor Agreement, which typically is about a page to 3 pages and is quite a quick, here's my offer, here's what's included in the home, and then submitting that offer. Yeah. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the brand new build because that's what I have a little bit more experience in. But it's maybe a little bit more thorough, and sometimes it can be a little intimidating, just the amount of paper that goes into a purchase agreement through a new home build. Basically, we want to make sure that all parties are very, very comfortable with what's expected of them purchasing the home. So with a new home builder, that's typically about 10 to 15 pages of a purchase agreement. It's stating in sometimes quite boring language. I had somebody once call it legalese. It was written in legalese, some sections, but we want to be very, very clear and very transparent as before locking somebody into a purchase of a brand new home, what they're getting into what's included in the home, what they can expect for insurance, what they can expect for building times, what goes into being a homeowner, if there's homeowners association fees, if there's condo fees associated with the home as well. So a lot of that also ties into what is expected from the city and what you can expect from services from the city. So it is a fairly lengthy document. The process of buying a brand new home is you would come in on, say, day one to write the purchase agreement, typically taking about an hour to maybe 2 hours sometimes of your time because we want to be very thorough in educating you on that paperwork. From writing the purchase agreement, most builders will give a 10 to 14 day window of what we call a condition removal period. It gives you time to read over everything that you've just written, right? So there's 0 questions after being locked into the agreement of what's expected of you and what you can anticipate from that builder as well. After the 14 to 10 day window is when you would sign the condition removals, and that's finalizing the sale. And that's giving you that time frame. Basically within that window though, any deposits you would have been given would be fully refundable. If something does come up, if you don't agree with something in the purchase agreement or you find a better home somewhere else, then you can still cancel at that time. But we want to make sure that it's very, very clear right off the bat what you're getting into with the purchase.
So you have 14 days to really go over that agreement and really think it through to make sure that you're, I guess, acceptable to everything that is in there. And at any time, well, I guess it depends builder to builder to builder.
Correct, yeah.
If you can cancel out or so on, right?
Basically, that within that window, you actually have to be able to get your money back. And a lot of this is where it gets very legalese. Depending builder to builder, it sometimes can be written only if financial funds aren't available, right? So just being very, very careful, reading what you're signing. That sometimes if you change your mind, that doesn't matter. It's only if you fail financing can you get your money refunded. But there should be a condition removal period where you're not completely locked into the contract.
And that time period depends on the builder to builder, right? 14 days, right? So,
correct, yeah.
Right. Okay. Is there, can you go into detail what exactly is in the actual offer, like contract offer? Contract to purchase, I mean?
Absolutely. And from my experience, again, builder to builder is going to be slightly different, but typically there is a generic purchase agreement, and this is that 10 to 15 pages of the actual contract that you're signing off on. In addition to that, it could be part of that purchase agreement, but there's sometimes some extras that you're signing off on at that time as well. If you're adding any additional options or upgrades, usually a list of what you're adding extra onto the home.
Yeah.
Is given there too. So again, you know what additional costs are being added at that time. Comparatively, there should be a list of what standard specifications are included. So legally, the builder is saying this is how we're promising to build the home, so that we're not changing our mind halfway through and ruining the customer purchasing experience. On top of that as well, it could be additional information as far as if there's site visits, if you're able to see the progress visits of the home, or sometimes depending on the stage of construction that you're buying at, if there's a possession request, if you wanted to request a specific date to move into your home, a lot of those would be packaged into the offer. And again, it's a pretty lengthy list of paperwork that you want to go over in quite detail. And that's why it typically takes sometimes an hour to 2 hours to sit down and go over everything completely.
And if you wanted to, say, include another upgrade during that 14-day period, would that be builder to builder, or that would be, hey, usually you can't do it?
Yeah, and again, it's all circumstantial. Like if it's a completed home and you want to change the floor plan in the upstairs, that's usually something that we can't modify at that time. So a lot of it is time sensitive. A lot of it is based on the builder as well. I know some builders they don't do a lot of red ink on their blueprints, so they're not custom home builders. Whereas some other builders have a little bit more leeway or a little bit more freedom with that too. So there is a little bit of difference builder to builder in that regard as well.
But is it a general rule that you can't really completely change over the home when you're in this 14-day period, when you actually, you're set?
Yeah, and again, I'm only going to go off of my experiences. I haven't worked for every builder out there, but for my experience is that if it's early enough in the construction process, you can still add upgrades to the home as long as it's meeting the deadlines for the building, right? So if we've reached X stage of construction, these are the kind of timelines for what upgrades we can add to the home. So if we haven't even started framing, you can upgrade your backsplash, you can upgrade the tile, you can upgrade a lot of these aesthetic features to the home as well.
So does that mean it depends on how far, I guess, the home construction process already is? So if like the home hasn't been constructed yet, you have a little bit more option, but as it gets closer to the actual, if the home's already constructed, you have limited options.
Exactly. Right. A part of this that will play in builder to builder would also be the builder's willingness to do those repairs, right? Maybe in the last little while when the economy wasn't fantastic, I think builders might have been a little bit more lenient with maybe doing some of those things. So maybe if you really want to do a lot of customization, probably look at buying a house during a downturn. So absolutely. If you can time it perfectly and then especially when you sell your home, if you can sell when it's a seller's market and manage to buy somehow when it's a buyer's market, if you can work that out perfectly, then you should write some books and figure out how you can sell that information to make tons and tons of money.
That's great. That was super helpful today. Like I really got a lot in terms of knowing when the actual offer to purchase is, right? Anyway, that's the episode for today. We'll catch you next time.
That's another edition of Homebuyer School. Tune in next time for more expert tips and tricks. And visit homebuyerschool.ca to bring you one step closer to finding your dream home. As with everything, it would be great if you like and share our videos. Also, please let us know if you have any home buying questions you want us to answer.